I just want your body, baby, leave.
Good day everyone. Today I'm going to answer and give the summary of these literary pieces, which are the Nolomitanghere, the Urbana at Felisa, the Maragtas, and of course, the El Filibusterismo. So without further ado, let's start it. So now let's have first the Nolomitanghere. So Nolomitanghere, which translates to Not Touch Me Not, it is a novel written by Dr. Jose Rizal. The novel tells the story of Don Crisostomo Ibarra, a a Filipino and a Spanish descent, who returns to the Philippines after 7 years trip to Europe. The story begins at a dinner party hosted by Capitan Tiago, a wealthy resident of Manila, and of course the father of Maria Clara. Ibarra arrives in the party to visit his fiancée, Maria Clara. However, Padre Damaso becomes angry at Ibarra's arrival. So Ibarra goes to the cemetery to visit his father's grave, and he learns that Padre Damaso ordered Don Rafael's remains to be transferred to the Chinese cemetery. However, he threw the corpse of Ibarra's father in the lake. Instead, Ibarra decides to forgive and commits to improvements in his town by building a private school. And he gains support from the local government, but the church views about Ibarra's project with suspicion, especially Padre Damaso. So one day, Ibarra and Maria Clara went on a picnic along the shores, and it was during the time when Ibarra and Elias became friends. On the day of the feast, Elias warns Ibarra about his assassinations, and Ibarra evades the injury. So during the celebration, the uninvited Padre Damaso arrived and insulted the memory of Don Rafael, which triggered Ibarra to attack him. And because of that incident, Ibarra excommunicated from the church. So Padre Salvi works on a scheme to take down Ibarra. And as a result, Ibarra was taken into prison but was able to escape with the help of Elias. However, Elias died in the process, where he was buried by a boy named Basilio with the boy's mother, Sisa. So proceeding to the next, the El Filibusterismo. The El Filibusterismo, also known by its alternative English title, The Reign of Greed. So the novel centers of the Noli El Philidology's main character, Crisostomo Ibarra, and now returning for vengeance as Simon. So Juan Crisostomo Ibarra has changed his name and identity to reach jeweler Simon. So in this guise, he troubles the world, amassing wealth which he intends to use to topple the corrupt and abusive regime in his native land. But Simon's real motive is personal. He wants to rescue his beloved Maria Clara from the convent and avenge the death of his father. In a forest on Christmas Eve, medical student Basilio recognizes that Simon as the man who helped bury his mother, Sisa, under a tree over 10 years ago. Simon is in the forest to retrieve the gems he buried near Sisa's grave. As the film progresses, all the secrets and intrigues are revealed and the plotter's plan fails. A good Filipino priest throws Simon's jewels away, thereby eliminating the greed, violence, and other evils they might have to provoke. So next we have the Urbana at Felisa. Urbana at Felisa was written in 1938 by Modesto de Castro. It is about two sisters, Urbana at Felisa, who exchanges letters about the happenings in their lives. So Felisa asks Urbana for advices because Urbana is studying in Manila, and she shares her knowledge that she acquired in Manila to guide her sister and to reprimand their youngest brother, named Honesto. So Honesto, to not engage in vices, Honesto doesn't engage any vices, fights, and not to hang out with bad people. So the narrative talks about etiquette, proper gestures, and ways in different situations. The letters exchanged were about normal events from their day-to-day lives until Felisa asked Urbana on what she should do about her suitors, Amadeo. So Felisa has second thoughts about marrying Amadeo. However, she was able to push through the wedding after Urbana settled her doubts. Settled her doubts and fears. So the last part of Felisa's letter was about their father's death, and it stated that and it stated there that father wants Urbana to know that he died after he buried because he doesn't want to make Urbana sad. She said that she will pursue as being none. So last but not the least, the Maragtas. So Maragtas is a work by Pedro Alcantara Monteclaro. In English translation, it is the history of Panay from the first inhabitants and the Bornean immigrants from which they descended to the arrival of the Spaniards. Well, the work consists of a publisher's introduction by Salvador Laguda, a foreword by the author, 6 chapters, and an epilogue. Well, the first chapter describes the former customs, the cloths, the dialect, the heredity, the organization, and etc. And the Aitas of Panay with a special mention of Maricudo, the son of old Chief Pulpulan. The second chapter begins a narrative of the Tendatus flight from Borneo and the tyranny of Raja Makatunaw there and their purchase of the island of Panay from Maricudo. So the third chapter tells the romance of Sumakwil, Kapinangan, and her love Gurunggarung. That's the term Gurunggarung. So the fourth chapter concludes the tale of the Tendatus, telling about their political arrangements and their circumnavigation of the island. The fifth chapter describes language, commerce, clothing, customs, marriages, funerals, mourning, habits, cockfighting, timekeeping, techniques, calendars, and of course, their personal characteristics. For the sixth characters or chapters gives a list of Spanish officials between the 1637. So that's all.